My name's Jermaine White, personal trainer and ex-young offender. How I got into the streets, how I got caught up in the street life was through poverty, not having anything, not having no money to eat, not having nothing at all, to the point where I had to go out there and rob people. I knew it was bad and I wasn't raised to rob people. My parents taught me better than that. But when you're put in certain predicaments, certain situations, you're forced to do certain things. And even though you know it's not right, you don't see any other alternative. When I was coming up, about 15, 16, I wasn't given no opportunities. I was handing out CVs, and I wasn't getting nowhere, and it was demotivating. I wanted to go college. I did go college, but I just felt like it wasn't for me. It wasn't connecting with me as a young person. I didn't feel like I could relate to college. And for me, it's just amount of situations through family breakdown, through not having no money, and just caught up. And when you're young, you got friends, and they might be involved in certain things, and they're like your family, so you just do whatever they do, type of thing. But it's for your situation. If my situation was different and I didn't have to go out there and do them things to get money, like say I had a job or an apprenticeship or something was put in front of me to give me a structure to my life, I wouldn't have had to done that, or a role model to guide me. But when you're out there, young person, you don't see no role models. Everyone's out for themselves, and the government's not putting funding in the places they need to put it. Because young people are suffering out there in our society, and there's no reason why it should be like this. In a prosperous country like this, there should be more opportunities for young people to succeed. And to be honest, the young people feel let down by the government, and that's why they result to what they do. So that's the reasons why I got caught up in this life. You know, I know it's the same for many young people up and down the country, but that's the fundamentals why young people get caught up into this life. Through poverty, lack of education, lack of knowledge, what's actually out there for them, what's available to them, and just feeling hopeless. Like when you're put in a situation like that, you think there's nothing out there for you. And when you think there's nothing out there for you, your mindset is automatically put in a negative mindset. So the government need to put more positive incentives into the local communities and put back. Because what you put back, you shall receive. You sow a seed, you'll get back, and you will receive. So you have to sow the seed in order to see the community prosper. So that's what I believe the solution is. Well, if I'm going to talk about the feeling of pain, waking up every single day knowing that you haven't got a job, there's nothing out there for you, just the pain. I'm feeling isolated from the community, from society, outcasted, every day stepping out your yard, people looking at you, thinking and looking down upon you with that stereotypical view. Police just randomly stop searching you on your way to college when you're trying to do the right thing, and it's still harassing you. It makes you just feel like, what's the point? What's the point even trying? Not feeling part of something. And that's when you got your friends there. I was never part of a gang, let's get that straight. But it was just a close group of us friends that were going through the same struggle, and we felt outcasted. So that's why we bonded together. And that's why we done the things we did to get by, because we saw no other way. That's all we saw. That was all that was put in front of us. And the media don't help. They just all the time it's a negative image that was shown, but not shown the right way. We're not shown the right way. You're shown 1,000 bad ways and maybe one right way. So that's what we saw. So the feeling was pain. And for me personally, isolation. I didn't really feel part of anything. So that was what I was going through. And then ultimately, through all the crimes I was committing, through my situation, I know it weren't right, but that's how it was, I ended up in prison. Now, prison is a place that it's not a nice place. When you arrive there and they take you through them gates and your freedom's gone, you can't eat when you want to eat, you can't go toilet when you want to eat, can't go shop when you want to. It's hard, man. It takes everything away. But one thing that prison did do, it gave me a lot of time to think, where did I go wrong? how could I change things? And it gives you that space to evaluate yourself. So it actually took me out of society, and it kind of gave me time to think, how can I better myself? Through that desperate situation, goodness actually came out of it, but it's only through my choice. I had to make that choice. For me personally, it was my faith in God that helped me. Nothing in society, government-wise, there was nothing there for me. I didn't feel like I got any help up until that point when I went to prison, that is. So in prison, I felt a lot of pain, a lot of rage. And when you're locked up with other people like you, it just ends up getting into fights daily basis, banged up in your cell, 23 hours. All you can do is eat, go to the gym, and you just get caught up in it. So jail, in one sense, made me a worse person because it made me even more streetwise, even more hardened. Because when you're around criminals, iron sharpens iron. So when you're around criminals, you get smarter, you become a better criminal, and you become even harder and toughened. But what I let it do to me, I let it make me smarter at the same time. So my mindset, when I came out, I was going to change. I'm not going to go back to the streets, because when I went to prison, had my freedom taken away from you, it's the worst thing that you can ever imagine. And I said, I'm never coming back here again. When you're locked up with murderers, 15, 20 years, some of them lifed off, never coming out. Young boy, 17, coming out when he's 60. It makes you think, raw, life is precious, man, and you can't take it for granted. So that was my prison experience. You know, I took positives from a negative situation, I turned it into a positive. So I used the time to reflect and to plan my freedom, how I'm going to live it out, and how I'm going to avoid coming back. So that's what I took from that situation. Yeah, but that's me. That's me, the prison side of things, and that's how it ended up for me. Yeah, man, the feeling of prison was hard, man. Being away from your mum, your dad. I didn't even get no visits from my parents because I didn't want them to see me in that position. I didn't want them to see me down and out. I couldn't bear the thought of them seeing me like this. So I went through 18 months not even seeing my parents. I didn't even speak to my dad for 18 months. I only spoke on the phone to my mum. My brothers, contact with one of my brothers, that was it. Because it's hard when you got no freedom and you're speaking to someone on the other line and they're free, but you're not free. I just wanted to isolate myself from that. I found it easier to just lock everyone out and just do my time, because the feeling of freedom is just there, but you can't touch it. It hurts, man. It hurts, man. Pain and isolation in that cell, 23 hours. Only thing you can do is bang press-ups, read books, nothing else. You really, in prison, you actually learn more about yourself, because that's all you got is yourself. And that's what I realized when I went to prison. Who can I actually rely on? Who's really there? Only a close couple friends that were there. Everyone else was gone. That's when I made the choice. I said, you know what? You're hanging out with these people. You're doing these moves. But are they going to be there for you to the end? Only people that are going to be there for you if your family, if they're any good. And even sometimes they're not even there. So who can you rely on? So that's when I turned to religion, turned to God. And I said, he's always there. So that was me, how I turned it around. Yeah. If I could say to anybody or give a positive message to the youth, or not even a youth, any offender, big or small, because at the end of the day, an offender is an offender, and a young person going through a struggle is a young person going through the struggle, regardless of age, gender, because we all go through struggles. The positive message that I would share from my negative experience would be to stay true to yourself. Think about what's best for you. Think of your family. What do you want out of your life? Because at the end of the day, you're going to die. You're going to pass. Your time on earth is short. It's short. It's like a split second. Before you know, you're old and grey. And my biggest fear of myself is living with regrets. Regrets in my life. What if I done this different? What if I would have done this? What if I made that choice? So what I would say is life is a combination of choices. And choices lead to different paths, different directions, different avenues. So just check yourself and think, what avenue am I going down? And do I really want to go down this path? Because every action has a reaction and a consequence. And like it or not, you're going to face the consequences whether you like it or not. So think before you do anything. That would be my advice to any person going through the struggle right now. Just think. I've still got friends in the struggle. Got friends in prison. Some ain't coming out, never coming out. You know, it hurts, but it's what it is, man. They had their chance to make a choice. They had free will. God's given us all the chance of free will to make our own choices, but they're still there. But it's just a street life. People get caught up in the cycle. It's what they're used to. People don't like change. They like to stick to what they're comfortable with. So what I say the solution is that, boys, the government can only do so much. There needs to be something that's sparked in young people to make them change from the inside out. You can't just change the exterior and pretty up things. You need to change a person from the inside out. And we need more positive role models, more positive outlooks on society, more opportunities for people to walk into. Because people just don't see it. They don't see it. They don't see the opportunities that are there. They don't see it. And that's what needs to be put out there to young people, the opportunities which are available to them, and more opportunities for the deprived communities, because it's like we get isolated. So we need more opportunities down here. That's all we need. And boy, still got friends there, and it hurts me to see them there, but they're in a cycle and they need to break the cycle and they need to make a change. But also there needs to be choices there for them to make the change, because the people do want to change, they do want to work, they do want to go college, but the opportunities are just not presented to them, which I think in this society is just not right. And the amount of corruption in the employment sector, the education sector, certain young people don't even get a chance, opportunity. They just think, why should I even try? I'm not even going to get that job because I don't know anybody in that industry. There needs to be more apprenticeships for young people, more opportunities, and they need to be given the opportunity to change and make a choice, because they're not going to change if nothing's present for them. They're going to think, why am I going to change? There's nothing out there for me. So that's what I would say, like, on that. Yeah.